Hello people, welcome back to my channel. So hope you are enjoying the Python skill series so far. So in the last video we have completed about the pandas, that is the panel data analysis. So we saw some of the operations that was required for machine learning as well as for doing your data science computations. So in today's video, let's have a look into a different library. So that is the numerical Python, that is NumPy. So before this, what we saw was pandas. So pandas was originally built on the NumPy, and so NumPy is the basis of all the libraries, or most of the libraries which are like related to statistics or any other kind of data analysis or any other purposes, are completely built on the NumPy, that is numerical Python library. So this is one of the most important library which is at the heart of Python. So everything in Python runs wholly and solely with the help of the NumPy. So let's get started. So I have a link towards this website. So that is the numpy.org. So in this you will find various documentations of or you can find various reference manuals of different uh, things. Like, I'll not open this PDF, but you can just check this out. Different histories and different things, basic operations. So out of this we'll be covering a few sections which are only required for our analysis purposes that we'll be discussing. So let's jump on to first. So it is nothing but it is mainly used for the matrix operations. So mainly when you build various applications, like for example, if you have a gene expression data, and so in that what you mainly use is you do the singular value decomposition, SVD. Or if you want to calculate the eigenvectors or eigenvalues of a particular matrix. So originally it became very difficult with the other programming languages, but since Python is a high level programming language and it can be easily understood, and so operations are written in such a way that uh, at the the difficult of the difficult algorithms or the difficult computations which was done by hand can be efficiently handled by the uh, NumPy. So that is where its efficiency comes into picture, and so it is mainly used for numerical as well as scientific computations. And as I said, at the core of Python lies the NumPy, but at the heart of NumPy lies the ND array. So array as opposed to list has some advantages that we'll be covering in this. So that is just our introduction with revisiting of the list. So arrays are basically used for all of the computations. Whenever you do machine learning or data science, almost everything you put into a matrix, because everywhere, let it be the matrix multiplication or matrix addition or even the matrix factorization for recommender systems, there you have this matrix computation. So there it becomes very handy, so that you can use the Python libraries and the Python functions in order to efficiently do out your activities. So without further ado, let's get started. So first we have the revision of the list. So we'll be revisiting the list. So say I have two lists, that is mass and I have volume, and in that I have I have four elements each. Now usually if I want to calculate the density, so density is given by mass upon volume. So usually we write in this way, that is a nested structure in nested for loop, that is iterative control. So for each element in mass, I'll compute the mass upon volume. So for x, that is in volume, we'll use this I by x formula, and if I run this, you get this kind of output. So it is like with respect to each of, so it will be 10 divided by 2, 10 divided by 4, 10 divided by 6, 10 divided by 8, 20 divided by 2, 20 divided by 4, 20 divided by 6, 20 divided by 8. And so it does a 1 to n computation to all of the elements, but you get so many density values. But you don't want this. But what I want is, I want like 10 divided by 20, 20 divided by 4, 30 divided by 6, 40 divided by 8. I want this kind of operation. So how will I do that? Obviously you can do some changes in this particular lines of code and you can achieve that, but a better way would be to use the numpy's array function. So this thing can be simplified with the help of numpy's array function. So it is nothing but you input the NumPy library. As with pandas, like you import pandas as PD, with NumPy you import the library, import NumPy as NP. So this is nothing but the alias. So this alias will be used to invoke any of the methods which are residing inside the NumPy library. So first of all, the mass which I has, that is what is there here. So I'll pass that mass into np.array, so it will create array which is of mass. So now it's no longer a list, but it will be an array. So if you want, then I can just comment this and I'll show you what it looks like. So if I run this, you can see that is mass, but you cannot make it out like it is list or it is a array. So for that, what we'll do is we'll just write the type of mass. Oh, it should be here. See, you can see the type of mass. Now it is numpy.nd array. So now it's no longer a list. So, but now you can do different kinds of magical operations, I would say, with this kind of array functionalities. Now, in the similar way, what I do is I convert the volume here. So similarly, volume I will pass on to this and I'll just print the volume. So you get the volume as 2468. So similar is the case with this. This is no longer a list, but this is now an n-dimensional array. So you can see here when I hover this nd array, that is of volume. Now I can directly write density is equal to mass upon volume. So it will do the necessary computations and it will print, that is what we have, the density. So you can see like I had the mass, then I had the volume, both were in arrays, and the density, which is also the resultant of mass upon volume, will be also a numpy.nd array. So its type will be the same as that of mass and volume. But just remember, if you just notice the entries that I have inputted, that was an integer, but when it internally does the operation or when you get the final output, the result is always a float. So that is basically used for precision. So later you can just trim this precision. So if you don't want this floating integers that is giving out from this, you can do a kind of round operation or seal operation or floor operation to this, so that you omit this decimal values. So internally it will be always stored as a float value, that is decimal values. Next, we again do a revision of the list comprehension that we have seen. So it is nothing but you write a for loop inside a list. So similarly, I have the mass and volume, same thing, but now I want to do the addition of each of the values in mass as well as volume with 5, and I want to just combine them. So I have the mass that is taken, I have the volume, and then what I do is I do a list comprehension. It is written in this way. So for each value in the mass, I just add with 5, and I do that for each of the element in that mass. And similarly for volume I do the same operation. And so what I can obtain is, I'll obtain like I'll get 10 plus 5 15, this will be 25, 35, 45, and this will be 7, 9, 11, and 13. And so it will give a resultant as concatenated to list. So that is a thing what we achieve with the help of list comprehension. But with arrays, or with NumPy arrays, the story is somewhat different. Instead of doing this list comprehension, what you can do is you can do the direct operations as it is, but after converting. So you can see just there are just print statements. So it's nothing but, since these are already mass and these are already volume, which are there as you can see. So that is nothing but the array data structure that you have. So if I print this, okay, this should be, hmm, okay, so it was giving some error here. Yeah, so it perfectly works now. So here what I did is I just converted this into an array and this to an array. So what it basically does is when I first print this, that is print mass upon volume, it will just print, or it will just do the addition internally. It will not concatenate. The size of the array remains the same, or the elements also remains the same, but the value just changes. Number of element remains the same, but the value of elements changes. So it will be 10 plus 2, 20 plus 4, 30 plus 6, and 40 plus 8. You get this particular result as a result of this print function. Then what I do is, what I did with the list comprehension, the same thing I write with normal arithmetic operation. That is, I do mass plus 5. So I get 5 added to each of the elements, that is 10 plus 5, 20 plus 5, 30 plus 5, 40 plus 5, that I obtain here. And the second thing I same do with volume plus 5. So I get what output I get here, the same thing I get in the same list, but the number of elements that remains the same, but the values will be different. So these are the kind of direct operations that you can easily do on NumPy arrays. Next, what we come into, we have two functions, like we have a range function and linspace function. So let's talk first about the a range function. So a range function, if you know, like this is somewhat similar, or you have already encountered this before, that is the range function in for loop, or for printing the elements. So it is similar to that. So it is array range. So a stands for array, and then you have the range. So it is an inbuilt function which NumPy has. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm creating an array 1 with 20. So I want all the 20 elements. So basically it will start from 0 up till 19, that is n minus 1. So that same construct is followed here. So the same thing you can uh, expect to happen with the arange function. And so these are mainly used to create samples. So say for example you are doing some kind of statistical distribution or curve fitting, and if you want to randomly or uniformly generate one numbers or a set of numbers one after the other, which will just increment. So for that basically you use the array function. And so if I run this, I get the first array as 0, 1, 2, 3 up till 19. So the index basically starts from 0, and you have all the elements numbered from 0 to 19. So you'll have basically 20 elements. Next what I have is, I have the same thing, but I have written in a different way. So these are like the same thing. This is the start, this is the stop, and this is the step. So the similar thing works here. So first you have 5, and then from 5 you have 5 steps next element. So it will be 5, then 10, then 15, then 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 up till 100. But it will not print 100. Instead it will stop just 5 places before. So if I run this, what you obtain is, see, you get 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and at the end you get 95. Just 100 minus 5, that is fifth element, you'll just obtain 5 places before what is 100, so you get 95. You don't get the 100, in fact you get this thing. So if I do with, like, say, if I have 60, so it will end at 75. Oh, sorry, it will end at 55. If I have 80, it will end at 75. See, but it will always start with 5, but it will end at 75. Now this was a series that I generated with number 5. You can create your own functions and just check whether this is working according to your requirements or not. So next what we come into, like, we have the linspace method. So linspace is somewhat similar but not completely. There is a slight difference. So it takes the same construct. So it is an inbuilt functionality of the numpy function. So it is basically used from the name itself. You can get to know, like, it will create a linear spacing of the elements. So this is nothing but your start, this is your stop, and this is your step. So how does it calculate? So this is a minimum value and this is the maximum value. So it basically has, like, you compute the max minus min, that is, here in this case you have 100 minus 50 and divided by n minus 1. So n is nothing but your step, that is 5 minus 1, and whatever value you get, that value you add to create the next number. So say you have the 50, that is the first element, and you do this kind of computation. You don't do basically, but this is how it basically works. So internally you do this computation: 100 minus 50 divided by 50 divided by n minus 1, that is 5 minus 1. So it will be 50 divided by 4, that is 25. So whatever value you have, that will be added to this 50 and you get this particular array. So here, see, you have, that is 50, so that the result will be always float. Then what value you get from this, that is 100 minus 50, that is 50 divided by 4. What value is that, or the fraction you added to the 50 to generate, that is 62.5. So the resultant is 12.5. 12.5 will be added to 50, so you get 62.5, and to 62.5 you again add 12.5, you get 75, and 75 you again add 12.5, you get 87.5, and then finally you get the 100. So with this linspace and a range, there is a small difference. Like, this is how it basically works, like equi-spaced elements, but there is some midpoint calculation in between by using this particular kind of formula. Next, what I want is, say in some applications I don't want this particular decimal values to happen, like I mentioned before. So for that, basically what you use is, you use a np.round function. So np.round function will round the values to the next higher integer. So now in array 3, since I have these many elements, or say for example this is the average or percentage of some students. So I want to do a rounding of this particular numbers. So for that, what I do is, I'll use a np.round function. So np.round function basically takes the array that you want to round, and to that you apply what is there is called as an integer number, that is to the next higher integer. So what you get from this is, so what I've done is, array 3 that is rounded to the next higher integer, I get 50, then I get 62.5 as 62. So it basically works in this way: whatever number is more than, like, 5, you add it to the next higher integer. If that value is less than 5, you keep it there only. So 62.5 is, like, 62 is 62 is not more than 5, so it is less than 65. So whatever values you have, say, I'll just explain in this way. So you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you have 6, 7, 8 and 9. So whatever value falls, or the unit place, if it falls in this particular kind of range, that is 1 2 3 4, you will keep it to that number itself. So here in this case it is 62.5. So 62 falls in the unit place falls in this, so that's why you have 62 here. And there is a point, that is because we have seen like it will always be keeping in the floating point. And then if you look at to the next number, that is 75, that is itself an integer number, so no treatment, so it will be 75. But if you look at 87.5, it is here, so the unit place is 7 here. So what we'll do is we'll just round it off to the next higher integer, that is 88. So instead of this, it was like, say if we had 89.5, we'll round it off to 90. So it works in the similar way. And one more operation what you can do with this is, you can call a sum, so it will do the summation of all the elements that is there inside that particular array. And so if you run this, you get the summation of all these things, that is the rounded array, as 375.0. And so that are the common operations that you can do. So explicitly you have to call with the other operations or some method, so things like that you would do. But these are the some of the inbuilt applications that is or that the NumPy has to offer when you do the certain scientific computations. So well, that was all regarding brief introduction about the NumPy libraries and some of the methods commonly used in data science for Python 3. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found you got educated watching this video, please do like, share, comment, and if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching this video.